Hello my dudes and welcome back to another boss guide for Lies of P. This time we are fighting the Black Rabbit Brotherhood. It can be a tricky boss fight simply because there are a lot of targets. Although you start with the eldest, which is the actual boss, his brothers and sister just happen to be a nuisance while you are trying to focus on this guy. But it can be a lengthy boss fight, just as I was saying, simply because those guys are just a nuisance. I'm not complaining about the design of the boss. I actually find it to be an interesting boss fight. It's just a shame that they decided to then put it a second time in the game. Now, as for the boss fight itself, or for some tips and tricks. Now, this is a human. So you want to try to get weapons and throwables that do damage to humans. In this case, I'm using the acidic spear, just because again it's quite effective against humans. And I'm also throwing some acid cans and some objects just to make the fight a bit faster. You don't have to spend money on these things. You don't have to go and buy consumables just to be able to do this boss fight. I have never ever in all my boss fights spent any ergo buying consumables. The ones that I have are the ones that I pick up as I'm playing the game. I use them as needed. If I have them, if I don't, it's not mandatory. It just makes the boss fight a little bit easier and just speeds things up a little bit. Now, for this girl, you can, and all of his brothers, you can actually try to backstab them, and it's quite an efficient strategy. The thing is, I didn't want to go with that strategy for the purpose of this video, because not everybody is versed in the art of backstabbing and fishing the backstab by strafing around them in Souls-like games. So I decided to go no cheesy mode, fishing backstabs, which I could, but I wanted to make this approachable for any player amongst the most experienced and inexperienced among you. So, playing fair and square, there's no fishing backstabs here, although as I said, you can play it like that. As you can see, I just buffed my spear with the acid to try to get a bit more damage going. I'm letting some charged R2s as they do kind of stun and interrupt the attacks of the brothers and sisters, but not of the main guy. Another thing that it's important to mention here, and you probably have noticed that I'm doing that as I go. I'm using the Aegis shield. Obviously, it's my favorite Legion arm, and it's quite useful, not only because it allows me to block without taking damage, but also because it allows me to try to perfect guard while keeping the shield up. So all you have to do is keep the shield up, and when you see the enemy is about to hit, you try to do the perfect guard as you would without the shield, while however holding the blocking button. So if you miss the perfect guard, you should still be able to block the damage. As you can see here, I could have done the backstabbing, but I chose not to. I just decided to play fair. Again, here I could have done it again, but I didn't want to. However, the brother decides to be a pain in the ass because he does these running attacks where he throws himself around. Which again, one thing I noticed during these boss fights is that while his brothers are on the field, he doesn't do that much damage as he would when he is on his own. So don't worry about too much if you get hit. If you can avoid getting hit, that's even better. I do recommend trying to dodge. I did go for one fishing backstab here just to give you guys an example on how you can do it. Just strife to the side, go around it, and get those backstabs going. But again, don't panic. That's one of the main things I say in all my boss guide videos, is that the most important thing you do is not panic. In a boss like this, if you can break his weapon by doing those perfect guards, even better, because it will significantly reduce the amount of damage you take from this guy. So I didn't go for it specifically. I've done it in a previous video. So I decided not to do it again. But if you can do it, it will make your life much easier, not only because his weapon will be doing less damage, but also because he does lose quite a significant amount of range. So he won't be able to hit you, especially with his smashing attacks, from that far. Now, when he does this combination, I think it is important that you just try to stay away from him. Don't try to block it, or don't try to dodge them. Just run away from him, and then close the distance with the charge R2 if you have to. I nearly died here. But as I said, don't panic. Keep your distance if you have to. Try to heal when it's safe to heal. Don't go and heal right next to hit, especially when he's doing a combo, because you just waste your pulse cells. The fight is nearly come to an end. As you can see, I'm just avoiding his combos, keeping the distance, but at the same time I'm being close enough that I can land an R1 or an R2 here and there. I try to dodge most of his attacks, close the distance. As you can see, I ran out of pulse cells, but I don't panic. I buff my weapon with a little bit of acid again, just to close the fight, and I run R1 and kill him. And that's it. That's how you can easily destroy the Brotherhood, Black Rabbit Brotherhood. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing if you haven't just yet. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Cheerio!